Good morning, guys. Day 4. So I'm changing the angle slightly today, hoping that it will make it easier for you to see me in standing poses, because I know for some people, and I notice myself with the editing, that when I'm raising my hands in mountain, it can be hard to get the full picture. So hopefully this works. We'll give it a go. Okay, so welcome to day 4 of our practice. Today we're going to start on our feet. So we're going to start in mountain pose, which we've been working on so far. So we'll come back to what we've been doing every day up until today. So bringing our feet more or less hip distance apart. We're in the middle of our mat, facing the long side of our mat, and our feet are just facing straight forward. So we're pressing through the 3 points in our feet, so the knuckle of our big toe, knuckle of our baby toe, and the center of our heel. And we want both hips so that they're facing forward. So our hip bones are facing nice and straight in front of us. So to do that, we'll do what we've been doing the last few days. We'll just rock gently from side to side. It's just moving nice and easy here, encouraging a bit of movement from the feet, from our base, up into our hips. And then from here, we'll bring the pelvis back and forth. So we'll just move between the ball of our foot and the heel of our foot. Nice and easy. And then we'll start to do circles. So we can move in one direction. Just gently moving our hips around. Nice little warm up for our hips also. And then moving it in the opposite direction. And if you like, you can change the size of the circles you're making with your hips, make them a little bit bigger, then start to bring them in, and then you can make them bigger again. So again, you're just kind of taking what I'm saying as cues, but going with how you're feeling in your own body then today and working from that. So from here, we'll start to allow the circles to become smaller, and then we'll come to more or less a still. So from here, I just want you to, if you've released your hands from your hips, bring them back and just slightly make any adjustments so that you feel like your pelvis is more or less in a neutral position. So now we've got a strong base pushing through those 3 points in our feet, giving a nice lift in our legs here, hip points facing forward, strength up through our core region and our spine, and then we'll take our hands and we'll just encourage our shoulders down and back. Our neck is neutral, and we'll just bring our arms down to our side, palms facing forward. Mountain pose. So as we start off today, we'll just allow our eyes to gently close, allowing our focus to come inwards. And notice your breathing. And just observe where you notice the breath in your body. Where is it strongest for you? Is it the sensation of your belly rising and falling? Maybe it's in your chest. Or is it as the air passes through your nostrils or your mouth? And from here, I'll just guide you through a few rounds of nice equal inhales and exhales, and we'll just pause for a moment at the top. So as we inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here we're going to start some movement. We're going to inhale, raise our hands overhead, bring our palms together, allow our gaze to follow. Exhale, hands to heart center. Arms down by side. Inhale, arms up overhead, joining our palms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale as we raise our arms overhead, join our palms together, and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, raising our arms overhead, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. And again, inhale, raising our hands overhead, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we'll bring our arms down and we'll just shrug our shoulders a few times in a backward direction, and then we'll pause and bring them in the opposite direction. So nice to just loosen out our shoulders and just to begin to encourage movement in the body. So as we start today, I'm going to walk you through some typical feet positions that you're going to see in yoga practice. So one of them is both feet facing the long edge of the mat. So for example, I'm going to step my right foot and my left foot for about 4 feet apart, and my toes are facing the long edge of the mat. So my feet, the sides of my feet are parallel to the short edge of the mat. My hips are facing straight forward. So this is one typical position that we see in many poses that we come into in yoga. So it's a good one to know. So jumping my feet back together, let's do that together. So you can jump or step apart, more or less 4 feet. Have your feet in line with each other, roughly. The edge of your feet is parallel to the short edge of the mat, and your toes and your hips are facing the long edge of the mat. And this one is a pose that we will be coming back to as we move through our sequences. Next one, jump feet together. I'll show you first and then we can practice together. So the next one is typical. We're going to stand more or less in the middle of our mat, and we're going to face the short edge of the mat. Stepping my right foot forward and bringing my left foot back. Now, so right foot forward, left foot back. My right foot, the toes are facing straight ahead towards the short edge of the mat. My back foot is on a train track line with my front. So you're more or less in 2 parallel lines, but the back foot is slightly pointed out. So more or less at a 45-degree angle, just a very slight pointing outwards. And your feet are about 4 feet apart. Your hips are facing the short edge of the mat this time. So I'll jump my feet together and let's do that together. So for starting into this one, you can jump or you can stand. So for me, it's a little easier, I think, to start standing. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to place my right foot forward and I'm going to move my left foot back. So there's about 4 feet between them. My toes of my right foot are facing straight ahead, the short edge of the mat. My right and left leg are in train track lines with each other. My left foot is slightly angled out to the side, so just very slightly, about 45 degrees, and my hips are facing forward. So there might be a tendency for your hips to move slightly to the left in the direction of the foot facing outward. So what you want to do is just hold your hips and very gently guide them forward again. So both hips are facing the short edge of the mat. Very nice. And we'll do that on the other side now. So bringing our left foot forward, bringing our right foot back, about 4 feet apart. Our left toes are facing forward, our right feet our toes are out slightly at a 45-degree angle. Our feet are in train tracks lines with each other. Not forgetting we want our spine nice and elongated, our shoulders back all the time, even though we're focusing on getting the leg positioning and foot positioning here. And then our hips, we want them facing the short edge of the mat. So again, they may tilt slightly to the right, so you want to just gently guide them back so they're facing straight ahead, short edge of the mat, square to the front. And you can just rest the heel of your hand on your hip points to judge that. Okay, so from here, step back in again. Another typical foot position is one like we come into in Warrior 2, which we will be working through as well. So bringing our right foot forward and our left foot back, about 4 to 5 foot between them. In this position, your right foot is facing the short edge of your mat and your left foot is parallel to the short edge at the back of your mat. So your right foot, again facing straight out forward, and your left foot, the edge of your left foot is parallel with the short edge of the mat. Here, your hips are open. So we've gone from a closed hip position to an open hip position. Okay, so you're just changing slightly that position in your hips, and by resting the heel of your hands on your hips, you'll notice the change. Jumping back. Okay, losing my balance a little bit. All right, so let's do it together. So right foot out, left foot back. Heels of your feet in line with each other. Right toes facing the short edge of your mat. The knife edge, so the outside of the back of your foot is facing the short edge of the mat. And your hips, if you rest the heels of your hands on your hips, are open. Very nice. So we'll step back in together and we'll repeat the same on the left hand side. So I'll demo first. You can watch just to see how it looks, and then we'll go through together. So left foot out, toes facing the short edge of the mat. Then stepping our right foot back about 4 to 5 feet, and it's parallel with the short edge of the back of our mat. Placing our hands on our hip points, heels of the hands, and seeing that nice open position in our hips. Great. Okay, so I'll step back in, and now we'll do that together. So stepping our right foot out, stepping our left foot out 4 to 5 feet apart, turning our left foot so that our toes are pointing the short edge of the mat. Right foot is parallel to the short edge of the back of the mat. Heels of the hands to the hips, and noticing that open hip position. Very nice, guys. So coming back to center. And then the last one for right now, that we look at today anyway, is turning. So we'll turn towards the short edge of our mat again. And we'll step our right foot forward, left foot back, in parallel lines, train track lines with each other. And in this case, bring our hands to our hip points. So both our feet are facing forward, facing the short edge of the mat. And here we have a typical one that we come into in high lunge, crescent pose. So both our toes are facing straight forward, our hips are squared to the front. Nice. Okay, so coming back together, and we'll do that together now. So stepping our right foot forward, our left foot back, about 4 to 5 feet apart. If you feel yourself getting a little bit wobbly, then just shorten your stance, bring your legs closer together. Resting the heels of your hands on your hip points. So both of your feet are facing the short edge of the mat, in train track lines with each other, and your hips are facing forward. From here, we'll repeat the same on the other side. So just turning around to the left side of our mat, or the back of our mat, stepping our feet about 4 to 5 feet apart, train track lines with each other, toes facing forward, and resting our hands on our hips. Okay, and now we'll do that together. Even though you might have been able to do that one from the previous, it's good just to practice and get familiar repetition. Bringing our left foot forward, our right foot back, train track lines with each other, toes are facing the short edge of the mat, heels of the hands to our hips, facing forward. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to try and integrate that. So remember yesterday we did pyramid pose. So we're going to move into that today. So we're going to start in our mountain pose, facing the short edge of our mat, and we're going to start with that first position. Our feet are together and our hips are facing forward. We're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. From here, we're going to step our right foot forward, our left foot back. So we have about 4 feet between both legs in train track lines with each other. We're going to turn our left foot so that it's angling slightly out. From here, we're going to bring our hands to our hips. We're going to press through our foot, and we're just going to start to lean our upper body out over our leg. So we're keeping that spine nice and elongated here as we slowly lower our gaze towards the ground in front of our foot. Once we get close enough to the floor, we can allow our hands to come down and place our fingers on either side of our front foot. And here we'll notice a nice opening up the back of our leg, stretching out those muscles. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. From here, we'll bring our hands to our hips, keeping our center strong, and we'll just lift our body up. Step our right foot back to meet our left, and now we'll move on to our left hand side. So stepping our left foot forward, keeping our legs in train track lines with each other, angling our back foot just very slightly out. Bringing our hands to our hips as we begin to lean forward, so really pressing through our feet just to get that support from the ground as we move into our pyramid pose. And when we get close enough to the ground that it's comfortable for us to lower our arms, that we feel balanced enough, we can lower our arms onto the ground. Bring our hands to either side of our left foot, our front foot. Gaze in the direction of our big toe and begin to inhale here and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. From here, we'll bring our hands to our hips. We'll use our core strength to lift back up, and we'll bring our left foot back to meet our right. We're just going to start to cool down now, and we're going to just allow our body, our upper body, again we can keep our hands on our hips, to fold forward over our lower body, bringing a nice little bend into our knees, again just to ease those hamstrings in. And maybe here, opposite hand to opposite elbow as we rock back and forth. Cooling down our body. Nice gentle inversion, bring our heart above our head. From here, bring our hands to the ground and we'll come on down into a seated position. Coming into easy pose in the center of our mat. So guys, well done on day 4 on completing today's practice. I hope you enjoyed it. So there was quite a bit of instruction today and a shorter period of movement, but I wanted to get that in early in our challenge so that you get familiar with the foot positioning, and it'll make it easier for following class as we go through here, and if you decide to join a class in person at some point also. So thank you for joining. We'll just take a moment to close our eyes, rest our hands on our knees and draw our attention inwards. Maybe dipping our chin towards our chest. Allowing our breathing to steady. Allowing our inhales and exhales to return to their normal pace. Giving thanks for our practice today and to ourselves for showing up for practice today. One last long, deep inhale through the nose. And as we exhale, we open our eyes. Thanks guys, have a great day. As you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, in your words, in your heart, in your body and soul. Namaste.